Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 3 of the Average Joe's podcast. I'm Holton.
And I'm Eric.
We're the Average Joes. Let's get into it. So this episode is the last episode that we're doing by ourselves.
Yep.
Yep.
It is the last one.
Yep. We got some interviews up in the works. You know, they're scheduled, so that'll be pretty cool. I'm excited for that. So a lot of big things have happened in the bodybuilding world this weekend. Mm-hmm. So this weekend was the Arnold Classic.
Yep. Arnold
The
Expo. Yep.
second biggest, might become the first biggest bodybuilding show in the world right now.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it takes over the Olympia.
Yeah. Derek Lunsford won the Open with a really surprising victory. It was him and Samson Duota in the finals again. Lunsford, who won the Olympia last year, got fourth in this year's Olympia, which is, I know not a lot of people know that much about the bodybuilding world, but that's to go from first to fourth is pretty uncommon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A big jump.
It's a big
Good
jump
for him.
Good for him to come back and win the Arnold against the champion, because Samson
And
Duota
not
won the
a
Olympia.
lot of time, to be honest. 'Cause the Olympia is mid-October and it's early March.
Yeah.
So really not a lot of time.
No. He probably bulked up a little bit after the show, got a little bit more size, and then, a big thing from him from the Olympia was his conditioning. He wasn't as cut as the top 3 contestants were. He just didn't bring his A game, which I think came back and did it at the Arnold.
Yeah, for sure.
The Arnold Expo looked really cool. I would definitely.
booths.
I would like to go.
A lot of booths.
I would like to go to that next year.
Yeah.
Because we went to the Olympia and that was really cool. But I think next year it could be cool to go to both.
Yeah.
Who knows? We might get invited.
We might get invited. We might have our own little Average Joe's podcast booth. And
That's the goal.
That is
Average
the goal.
Joe's live from the Arnold Classic.
And we'll have our own little...
That'd be super cool. Interviewing people like Coach Greg. The Average Joe's podcast is not optimal.
Oh my gosh. He did not just do that in the voice. Sound like Mickey Mouse. Oh, that's funny.
Sorry, love you, Coach Greg. He was never going to see this. It's okay.
He might, if we get famous, though.
Yeah,
he
who
might
knows?
go back to this episode and be like, these guys are
Our clowns.
talking bad
Love
about my
Coach
voice.
Greg's advice. Anyways. Oh, about Coach Greg. I don't know if you know this, but him and Mike Isertel squashed their beef.
Oh, really?
The beef is over. So,
That's good.
yeah.
There's more peace now amongst the gym community because of
Yeah,
that.
the bodybuilding world has been resurrected.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good for them. But yeah, I also saw Mitchell Hooper won.
Yeah, Mr. Hooper won strongman. We talked about him in the first episode. He won the strongman competition
That
at
was
the
cool
Arnold.
to meet
That's
him.
cool.
He was fun to talk to for
Cool
a couple
guy.
minutes. I asked him about. Everyone asked him about Grizzly because him and Grizzly did something last year at the Arnold in 2024, and I asked him.
That's
when
the
we
big
went to
Russian
Olympia.
guy, right? The
No,
super
he's from
hairy
Greece.
dude.
He's from Greece.
Ah, okay.
But I said, what was it like lifting with him? He's like, he just kind of does his own thing. And I think he said he didn't talk that much because
Yeah.
he doesn't in the
He's
videos.
locked.
He's locked in 24/7. But
Dialed.
Grizzly fans will be appreciating me giving them the spotlight for a little bit. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because I had to ask him because that's how I originally came across Mitchell Hooper was because of
Mm-hmm.
him doing like the Zercher shrug with Grizzly at the booth. I remember they had like a lot of weight on there, whatever it was. They're both doing it. But yeah. Mitchell Hooper won the strongman part.
Yeah, I've been seeing on a bunch of influencers' pages how cool the Arnold Expo looks. Young LA, my boys, they had a booth there. So
Of course, yeah.
yeah,
They didn't have one at the Olympia though, did they?
they didn't. Dark Sport was the apparel brand at the Olympia.
Honestly, I
Dark
don't
Sport's cool though. That's the Wolves brand.
know.
There's a ton of guys in training zone that
with
wear
the
them.
backpacks and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. That makes sense. Yeah, because I remember that they had a lot of backpacks. A lot of people were buying backpacks. A lot of people already had the backpacks walking around, but those are very popular.
Yeah, Peach was there, our boy. Yeah,
He was there. Peach was there. We already talked about who we met there in the first episode, but yeah, shifting gears. Next topic. What do you think?
Something that I wanted to really emphasize is, we talked about this a lot in our first episode, but I want to lay out a full schedule for like gym beginners or people that don't have much time to go to the gym, that maybe have busy work schedules or just getting introduced to the gym. So I think like if you're really busy with work and you only have say 30 minutes to an hour a day to lift, I think a really good schedule to be on is like a 3 or 4 day schedule during the week. Push pull legs. You know, we talked about that, but that's truly is the most simple. Or you can do an upper body, lower body. We can kind of address both.
Or a total body for 3 days a week.
Yeah.
That's what I tell some people.
But so a really simple push pull legs split would be Monday. This like again, this is for your very base beginner lifter, beginner gym goer, just in general. That only has 30 minutes to an hour to lift. Warm up a little bit, stretch, right? Do your basic stretches. Don't want to risk injury.
Yep.
Do a variation of a press, right? So that could be bench press, dumbbell press, incline bench. I'm personally a fan of incline bench, but you know, really just getting to the gym, you just want to build like overall strength, right? So as a personal trainer, what's a chest exercise that you show your newer lifters?
Definitely dumbbell bench press. For a couple of reasons. One, a lot of them, unless they really, really need to go on a machine, I'll put them on a machine because it can help kind of guide them in the form, and they're like, oh, this is how you do it. And then when you go to the dumbbells, it's similar but different because you have to control the dumbbells.
Yes. And
that makes your muscles work differently. You're controlling the weight. The machine isn't controlling it for you, so therefore you're getting more out of it. You know, dumbbell chest press is probably my favorite press movement, or the overhead press for shoulders, you know. Those are my two go-tos for presses, for press movements for new.
And if you have any questions about any of these lifts that we're saying, there's a ton of very good tutorials on YouTube.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, because that could get confusing too. You don't know what we could say these exercises, but you don't know what they look like. Just look up what they are on YouTube. There's great technique videos.
Yeah, for sure. There's all kinds of stuff out there on social media.
Yeah,
for sure.
Or if you see us in the gym, we could come over and help you. Especially Eric. You know, he's literally does it for a living.
Yeah.
So going back from that, that's one. And then so you do a little bit of chest. Do those basic exercises. What do you think are good basic exercises for the chest? A pressing movement. The pec deck. Every gym has one. Yeah,
pec deck.
The pec deck is the machine where it's seated and there's two handles right here and it goes in like this. So do that on chest day. It's a pretty you can't mess that up, I feel like.
No, machines are, like I said earlier,
machines are going to be your friend when it comes to just getting in the gym because it's guided. Yeah. So it really helps you. You can't really have bad form on machines. And it'll also say, if you're confused, it says the name of the machine. Or it shows
how to do it.
It shows how to do it, what it's hitting. So in this case, it'll show your chest on the machine, which is really
the other
beneficial.
Thing, now that you're talking about machines real quick, I just wanted to say this, is like a lot of people have like questions that I get, especially from clients or new people in the gym, like, what setting do I put it on? You know, for like the back support on the chair, like on the hamstring curl machine, like, because there's all kinds of stuff on that. So
can I answer that really quick?
Yeah.
Whatever is the most comfortable.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's just whatever suits your body. Like, don't just do whatever's on there when you get on the machine. You know, unless it's exactly
if it genuinely feels uncomfortable, it's probably not right.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
For back, which would be day 2, right? This could be your Wednesday. If chest is your Monday, this could be your Wednesday. Do a pull down, right? Very simple. Every gym has a pull down machine. You could do close grip, which is a little bit easier, or wide grip. Doing your rows, again, every gym should have a cable row. I think that's the easiest one to do, is a type of like seated cable row. What's another good kind of very entry level back exercise?
Assisted pull-up machine.
Yes, the assisted pull-up machine.
Yeah.
That is great just for overall upper body strength. Assisted pull-ups are great. Your gym should have a pull-up machine with the pad to put your knees, so that's good. You could also do dips there that's also very good for just your entire upper body strength. Again, on these Monday and Wednesday lifts, hitting biceps and triceps. So your bicep obviously is I have a sweater on right now, but it's this part of your arm, the part that peaks up when you do this. So that's going to be hitting movements that do this. And it also works your back. So it's like, that's why they call it push and pull, because when you're pulling like this, it targets your biceps and your back, right? So that's just where the name originates from.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be as basic and as easy to understand as possible when I say this. So it's like, for biceps, you really don't have to do much. Your back and your chest training is going to be much more time consuming than your bicep and tricep
it's much
training.
Bigger muscle.
Yes, much bigger muscles. And your tricep is the back of your arm. So it's actually double the size of your bicep is. It takes up 3/4 of your arm, your tricep does. So it's honestly more important to a lot of people neglect triceps, but they're definitely an important muscle group to hit.
Yeah.
So your tricep, it'll be movements like push downs. So pushing down like this, on a cable machine, get like a straight bar or an easy bar, and just do this on the machine. Again, like I said, with all these exercises, there's going to be great tutorial videos on YouTube. If you have any questions, you can also comment them down below, and we'll be happy to answer them with any of these.
100%.
And then a simple leg workout, because legs for general strength are very important.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people train legs.
It carries your body.
So definitely when you're first getting in the gym, but legs are also the hardest to hit, and you deal with the higher injury risks with legs because of your back. So simple leg exercises can be machines. So like leg extensions are great. Hamstring curls are great.
Leg press.
Leg press is good compared to squats.
For newbies, yeah.
For
newer people,
for newer
definitely
lifters,
do leg press over back squat.
Yeah, definitely do leg press. That when you're sitting and you put weight towards your feet and you quite literally just press with your legs, it's a lot safer than back squatting is. If you have someone that has a lot of experience lifting to show you how to back squat, I would definitely do that before you start back squatting.
Yeah, just don't go into it not knowing anything, especially with a barbell back squat. It's a little bit different with a goblet, with a dumbbell or kettlebell.
Yeah.
That's a little safer than the barbell, but still you should get some, more experienced lifter, like you said, to help you out.
Yeah. And with all of these lifts, you should be incorporating, again, for people that are just getting in the gym, you should be incorporating some form of cardio to get your endurance up and cardiovascular up. It's good for your heart. So what I would do is do 15 to 30 minutes, whatever you're comfortable with. 15 minutes if you're kind of just getting in the gym, 30 minutes if you're a little bit more experienced, just walking at the end of your workout. Seriously, that'll be so beneficial for your overall health. You'll lose fat, you'll lose weight, you'll become more energized in the gym because you'll get your endurance up. So I think cardio is going to be really important overall.
Especially putting you on an incline for the treadmill.
Yes,
that's one thing I was going to add. Incline treadmill is much more beneficial than just having it on a flat.
Yeah, but if you just want to walk, that's fine too. Living a healthier lifestyle in general is going to be beneficial. Take the stairs instead of the elevators if you have the ability to do so. Stuff like that.
Definitely.
And we talked about a pretty good basis for diet in our first episode. I'll put a link in the description for that. But we went over pretty much beginner diet pretty extensively in that. So I think that's a good place to start. Rep range.
Depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to build strength, I would say, actually, I would honestly say if you're just beginning, I would go higher in reps. Beginner, that's what I did when I started. And if
So,
you're a beginner or you're trying to lose weight, high reps. So
I'd say 10 to 15 for every exercise.
Yep, 10 to 15 for sure.
10 to 15 reps for every set for every exercise. Usually a good rule of thumb is like 3 to 5 sets, I'd say, for every exercise. So if you're doing, say, I'll start on the low side, three sets, 10 reps, you're doing 30 reps pretty much for every exercise, which is going to be super beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really good starting point. And another thing, like I was going to add on to your split, you were going kind of in more detail of isolation, but let's say someone wants to come into the gym, they're very busy with work and they want to come in 3 days a week. So whenever I hear that, I'm immediately thinking of total body.
Yes.
And total body meaning, like, obviously you're hitting everything that's part of the body. So you got your legs, you got your chest, you got your back, you got maybe some biceps and triceps, your shoulders. The biggest thing with this is if you have an hour, basically 3 hours a week to hit the gym, an hour on Monday, hour on Wednesday, hour on Friday, or however they want to split up their days. Hitting total body is very important, a little bit of cardio, but doing compound movements like the chest press or the overhead press. So it's not only are you working like on the overhead press your shoulders, but your core as well, because you have to stabilize. You can't just be arching your back and having really bad form. So you have to engage your core. The goblet squat, like I mentioned earlier, with a dumbbell or kettlebell, whatever you prefer, you need to engage your core. Leg press you do a little bit, but that's the kind of the difference between a machine and free weight. But they're still both good movements. But the key is to do compound movements or superset a lot as well, which is very important. If you only have an hour and maybe you want to do some stretching beforehand, then that's already cutting into your hour. And then if you want to do cardio, that's already cutting into your hour of lifting too. So realistically, you might only have like 30 minutes to lift, or 35, 40, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that's not a whole lot of time. So you got to be working quick. So doing supersets, and what I mean by supersets, I think we talked about this in the first episode, but at least no more than like 30 seconds of rest time. So basically, let's say you hit dumbbell chest press, you do a push movement, and then maybe you want to go do some pull-ups if you're strong enough for pull-ups, or the assisted chin-up machine, or whatever. So you do a push movement with a pull, and after you hit that chest press, you're going right to the pull-up bar to do some pull-ups. And after you're done with the pull-ups, you go back to the chest press, or maybe you need a little bit of a break, so you take like 30 seconds. Then you hit the dumbbell chest press, and you do the pull-ups, and maybe you do that like 3 or 4 times through, or even 2 times.
Yeah.
So two sets of supersets, and you move on to something different, maybe like a goblet squat with Russian twists, or lunges with dumbbell row or something. Just basic movements that that you kind of rinse and repeat until you master them, and you're like, okay, maybe this weight is getting too light, so now I need to up the weight, or maybe I need to drop the reps when I up the weight. So just little tweaks like that go a long way. But total body is also another great route for someone who has basically not a whole lot of time, like 3 days a week, for an hour. It's a really good way to hit everything. Because if you're just isolating, the problem with it is with someone, if they don't have as much time, and if you're isolating, might not be able to get all the body parts. But still, isolating is great if you have the time for it, for sure. No doubt about it.
If me and Eric are either talking too fast or getting kind of confusing, a great place to get very simple information is RP Strength. Just look up RP Strength on YouTube. They make the most simple workout tutorial videos. Besides that, I think that's a really good place to start in the gym for anybody that's kind of just rolling into the gym or wants to make a change.
You said life. RPE? RP.
Just okay. RP Strength.
So that's another thing actually that kind of inspires me to talk about RPE a little bit, which is, for those of you who don't know, RPE means rate of perceived exertion. So another way I talk about it...
Getting all science-based lifter here.
I am a
Jeff
little bit,
Nippard.
yeah. So another way I put it is, like, when I work with clients and they're doing like a weight, if like I just start with it, I'm trying to get...
Sorry.
Nice. Did you make it in
just
the trash can?
Yeah. I did make it, in fact.
Yes. So what I usually ask him if I'm first starting to work with them, or maybe I bump up the weight a little bit, I say, like, how does that feel? How heavy is it? Or like scale 1 to 10, how heavy is that? And if they're like 10 out of 10, it's like, okay, maybe we need to knock it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But gradually over time, you want to push yourself. When you first start, it should be moderately difficult. It shouldn't be like super, super light where it's not even challenging. It should be difficult enough, but like not too heavy where it's like you're just gonna be super sore the next day. Like you want to kind of just keep it nice and even keeled when you first start in the gym, and then gradually over time build it up. So it's pyramiding is what it's called. Also, just increasing the weight, building off of the week before or the 2 weeks before or whatever it is. So another thing is you kind of have to gauge it too. Is like, all right, if I'm doing, let's say, if I have a client that's like doing chest press, dumbbell chest press with a 20-pound dumbbells for a couple weeks, and now it starts getting pretty easy, I'm going to think about doing the 25s or maybe even like the 30s. And then, kind of the biggest thing is just reading it. And there's certain days where like they're not going to have the same strength, and I can just tell right away, whether they tell me that verbally right off the start of a session, or I can just read it because like the weight is not going up as quick, and they're struggling more. So there's also that kind of thing too. So that, and I've talked about this I think a little bit before in the first episode, is just being very aware of your body and how you're feeling. If you don't have as much strength, then you probably need to go a little bit lighter, because your nervous system could be taxed. You could be tired because you didn't get enough rest, or you didn't eat enough in the day, or all of those things combined. So but yeah, RPE is another thing that's scientific, but another way I say is, scale of 1 to 10, RPE 7 would be basically 7 out of 10 difficulty, something like that. So, and that's kind of more technical, especially when you get into the maxings and stuff, that's a whole nother can of worms we can open with maxing and all that stuff.
Speaking of maxing, don't deadlift.
Don't deadlift?
If you are just getting in the gym, you're going to see people deadlifting. Don't deadlift unless you really want to. And if you really want to, get someone really experienced to show you how to do it. Because that is the easiest way to screw up your back.
Yeah, and with deadlifting, for sure, if you're going to start with deadlifting, it's best to do it with a kettlebell or a trap bar.
Yeah. Definitely.
Not conventional with a barbell, for sure. Like, those are like the kind of, I like to call them the training wheel exercises.
Yeah.
You kind of start there, and then you can graduate.
Like, I'm just starting to deadlift after like 9 months of training. I'm kind of just getting into deadlift. That's because I want to build my strength up a little bit, which deadlifting is great for. But you really got to be concerned about your health and injury risk, which
you don't want to get hurt, because then you're not able to work out, and you might have a lifelong injury after that with deadlifting. For sure.
I already have a bad back, like, to start out with already. So I really have to be like sensitive about that kind of stuff. Also, wearing a belt.
Yeah, that's very, very important.
Every gym should have a belt that you can use.
Or belts. Plural, hopefully. Yeah,
plural, that you can use. Those are very important. One, they help you get more weight up because it braces your core. Two, it's also good for reducing the risk of back injury. So I use those. I use those every time I squat, every time I do any sort of deadlift, a Romanian deadlift, which is a straight leg deadlift to simplify it, or a conventional deadlift.
Yeah, any of those movements definitely need it.
Yeah,
I use it too, especially on like. Actually, I don't know. Did I use it when I was doing the Viking press last time you were spotting me?
You were. Yeah, you did.
Yeah. That's one of those things, because like I said earlier, with dumbbell overhead press, it's really easy for someone's spine to like basically go that way. So it kind of makes like a C kind of, I guess. And essentially you're over curving your spine, and that's a lot of pressure on it. You want to keep it nice and braced. So for me, it's kind of like reassurance on the Viking press to have that, the belt on me. Same thing with deadlifting, squatting, all that stuff. Like, I'm going to use it. Even for some chest stuff, I use it too, like dumbbell bench press. It's reassurance in my mind mentally. It's like, all right, I have a little bit of support on my back, and it's telling me, okay, I got to keep my core braced and everything. So,
So totally switching up topics here. I have just kind of came to my mind because of your shirt. You're wearing a Metallica shirt. Talk about your music a little bit. I don't know who all knows this, but Eric, he releases music and he makes music. I had the opportunity of being in the studio with Eric. What was it, last Wednesday? Yes.
2 Wednesdays ago.
2 Wednesdays
Not last
ago,
week,
I had
week
the
before.
opportunity. Eric invited me to the studio with him. Great experience. Shout out Stevie. That was super cool.
Yeah, it was a great studio
Yeah,
experience.
so
for
tell
you.
them about kind of your music and how's that going.
I'll tell you. I kind of
And we could even, release the news on the Average Joe's podcast.
We could, or is it a little too early?
No, I think it'd be a good time.
Okay. Well, let me get into the music background a little bit because I can talk about this for quite a while. So I really started when I was young. I listened to kind of my mom would always play country music on the way to when I would go to school. So stuff like Toby Keith, Tim McGraw, old school country.
Should have been a cowboy.
Yeah. How Do You Like Me Now is one of my favorite songs when I was a kid. Stuff like that, and it kind of eventually evolved into Leonard Skinner was like the other band that I really got into.
Leonard Skinner. That's like Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah.
Freebird. Freebird, yeah.
Freebird, Simple Man, great band. And then it kind of went to AC/DC, a little bit heavier, more on the rock side, rock and roll. And I really liked AC/DC for a while just because it was like heavier music. It was like Skinner, but heavier.
AC/DC, one of their mottos is they make music for kids that like to break the rules.
Yeah.
Which is definitely Eric,
I actually had never heard that motto.
Yeah. It was cut it. Who is the lead singer of Aerosmith?
Steven Tyler.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to call him. Steven Tyler.
He, when they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that's what he said.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, AC/DC is it's like always a good mood when you play to AC/DC.
Yeah.
It's just a rockin' mood, It's like, that's what they do best. So anyways, I was really into AC/DC for a while. And I was like kind of chasing or wanting to find, I knew there was something out there that was heavier. And so, the old iPods, like I'm talking when you would click it without the screen. So I was coming across some heavier stuff on that one. And I remember a few songs, like one of the first ones was Walk by Pantera. That was one of my favorite ones. Walk was super heavy. I was like, man, this is like, it makes you just feel like you're a rebel, honestly.
Got your blood bubbling.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Another one was one of my favorites was Shout at the Devil by Motley Crue.
Oh, dude, Motley Crue's great.
Yeah. Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil, that was one of my favorites. And then at the time, I didn't realize what band it was. Hint.
Big Metallica guy.
Yeah. There was 3 Metallica songs on this, from what I remember, maybe 4 on this, on the iPod. The first one that I heard was From the Bell Tolls. To be honest, I thought it was Hell's Bells by AC/DC, but I recognized the bell sounded differently. And then I remember the bam, 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 and the iconic bass line played by Cliff. That was like so wild sounding to me. I just remember it was like, holy, like I couldn't believe how heavy it was. And it was like what I was looking for. And the next song was Ride the Lightning from the same album as From the Bell Tolls. Ride Lightning's obviously the title track for those Metallica fans know.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's on this shirt right here. Where is it? Yep, right here. Ride the Lightning, Master Puppets, Justice for All, Garage Days. Anyways, so I heard that one. The other one was Battery. And I remember Battery was interesting because that's the album opener for Master of Puppets. And it starts off...
What year is this? Like 1985?
Close. 84 for Ride the Lightning, 86 for Master of Puppets.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I remember there was the acoustic guitar came on, and I was like, what is this like, I was listening to like Walk and Shout at the Devil, From the Bell Tolls, all these like heavy songs, and you hear this acoustic guitar going, and the next thing you know, you hear the band, the band. You gotta listen to that one.
Yeah.
You know what I want to talk about once I'm done with the story.
Yeah, I got you.
No, it was just so heavy, and I just remember how fast that main riff was, and I was like, whoa, I never heard anything this fast and this heavy before. It was crazy. And then, so at the time, I didn't know it was Metallica. And then I remember I heard Enter Sandman on the radio for the first time, and I was like...
Everyone knows that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I heard the song before, but I was like, man, that guy's voice is so cool. And I I asked my dad who it was. He said, this is Metallica. So I was like, man, I really want to hear some more songs from these guys. He's like, yeah, they're a pretty cool band. And so, long story short, he brought, when I was going up to, basically when we go to baseball practice, he'd play my first actual album that I was exposed to by them was one of their newer ones, which is not too common for most people, was Death Magnetic, released in 2008.
Totally know what that is.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Anyways, so the album came out in 2008, and this was like 2013 when I started getting into them. And this was, that was my first introduction to Metallica, like actual album, and it was their newer stuff. But then once I got a taste of that, I was like, man, I want to go explore everything they had. And it was just like, there were so many layers. There was Master of Puppets. There was Fight Fire with Fire. There was One, Seek and Destroy, stuff like that. And I really like, of course, I like the hits, but I really like the deep tracks too, especially. And I like all eras of Metallica. I think there's people who really only like their first 4 albums because they know Metallica is a thrash metal band, but Metallica is so much more than that. But anyways, I like all eras of Metallica, and pretty much once I found out who they were, the rest was history, and they've been my favorite band since 2013 at that time. And then they've inspired me quite a bit to write music, and music of that nature, heavy and fast. And I have roughly probably like 25 to 30 songs. Some of them are rougher, like they're not as done. I have for sure 16 songs that are done, ready to record in the studio. So theoretically, I have eight songs for each album to make 16 in total. Right now we're in the process of finishing up the 4th song. And there's many more to come. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for the 5th song, to be honest. It's hard sometimes to pick out what I want to do because it's like, do I go in a different direction with the song or do something of the same vibe? Do I go a slower song? Do I go heavy and slow? So it's tough sometimes.
I say we release like a Jay-Z Linkin Park type thing. I could be on the rap side, and you could
Jay-Z Linkin Park.
Jay-Z and Linkin Park.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Encore.
Rap and metal.
Yeah. Rap and metal.
We'll see. I think I should play some songs for you, like, obviously outside of here, the podcast, but, like, you can listen to be like, yeah, you should do that one. Because that's something that sometimes I have a hard time with figuring out what I want to do next with recording the songs. But yeah, the big announcement that you mentioned a couple of minutes ago.
Eric is doing a live concert.
Yep. This will be essentially my first ever live gig at the gym. Anyways, this is kind of advertising it because we did get the green light, a week and a half ago or something like that.
Yes.
I don't know, somewhere along those lines. But anyways, it is going to happen. Now we just have to market it. It's going to be roughly 8 weeks from now.
Yeah.
So the plan is for me, I'm not sure how much time I'm getting allotted to myself of playing on stage, but mix of Metallica songs and definitely my songs too, just for me to play my songs and
a little publicity
for sure.
Yeah.
We have so many ideas flowing around with this concert thing, and it's got me excited just talking about it right now. But this is my first live thing, so very excited and looking forward to it for sure.
What's my job again?
So you could be either doing the live stream, like recording the live stream, or maybe changing the guitar strings or something. Probably the live stream, to be honest.
Yeah, which is arguably the most important job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I trust you in that job.
All jokes aside, I think it's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited. It's going to be at the gym.
Yeah.
At the gym we go to, Training Zone. It's where Eric works. Not to give away too much personal information, but it's going to be at this gym. There's like a ground level and then a top floor with like cardio and stuff. It's going to be on the top floor, kind of looking down on everything. It's going to be really cool. Sahil is kind of doing all the advertising and social media for that, so it's going to look cool. Shout out Sahil. Shout out Sahil every episode, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be super dope.
The biggest thing is just obviously grinding out, getting all the ironing out all the bugs and stuff, and getting all that
I
stuff.
hear there's going to be karaoke too for everybody else that's interested.
Karaoke, I'm talking about that. Yeah, you brought that up on the spot. I wasn't ready for that one.
Yeah.
But
I will be doing my rendition of the real Slim Shady.
Like you dye your hair blonde?
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
But no, I'm very excited about this, and the biggest thing is just making it kind of like a big party, honestly, for other people.
Yeah.
This is a big event bringing together the gym community that is done on a really big scale, and just keeping it fun and just making it really festive vibe. That's the word that's been in my mind a lot, is festive. Like a party. Just everyone's having a really good time. Everyone's letting loose and just feeding off the energy of the music, and I will be feeding off the energy of them, and just having fun with it, man. That's just enjoying the experience.
Yeah.
So,
I think a great name could be Brews, Broads, and Bangers by Eric. I think that could be really.
No, I don't know about that.
I think that could be a head turner.
You're coming with all kinds of stuff on the spot.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
This is just winging it.
Yeah. What's our time looking at?
37.
37? Do you have anything else you want to say for this episode?
To be honest, no. I think we've covered everything.
I think we have two. Reminder, everybody, next episode we'll be having our first guest.
That's right.
That'll be coming out later. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. We would love to respond to you guys. If you have any ideas that you want to talk about for the next videos, I think that's good for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Later.
Thank you.